Uh, just share my screen. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it. It looks great.
Yep.
Hey, there we go. Get my setup here. Won't be a sec. All right, so thank you all for being here. This is the first official Meeting the Moment Masterclass, and realistically, what I'm hoping to do in this masterclass is just share 3 key things. So we got 90 minutes. The first thing is having like a meeting the moment experience. And so if nothing else, walking away from this masterclass, this is a tool that I feel is really simple to use. It's easy to understand and something that you can pretty much implement in your life straight away. And so we'll drop into the meeting in the moment. We're going to talk about contractions and programs, mental programs, and how they formulate stories that through our evolution, we've become identified with these stories. And we're going to show you how within the meeting the moment framework, how we very quickly and efficiently release those. And then we'll drop into how we're utilizing iAMconnected. What is iAMconnected? Meeting the moment to really explore a greater sense of who we really are outside of the mental stories. And why is this important? What does it give us? It really gives us a greater sense of connection to who we are, deeper access to our vitality. And I feel like this is such important work at this time as we move into a period of hyper acceleration with technology, where it's going. I want to encourage you to do your best to be here and be present now for the next 90 minutes. One of the biggest things that pulls us into the mind is multitasking. And largely what we're exploring here is deepening our relationship with the mind without being caught in it. So the invitation is to turn your phones off if you can and just really focus in and just be here. And I want to encourage you to participate as much as you can, so it's not just me talking. And there'll be lots of opportunities to share. But please, if you've got questions, reach out, ask. Like I said, we got 90 minutes, and this really is like an experience that we're co-creating together this morning. So it's a we thing, and this is a unique thing that will only exist now and that we are doing together. So I'd love you to participate. And if you stay to the end, which I hope that you do, then there's an invitation that I want to share with you. But I wanted to start, just like I said, this is a we thing. If you feel comfortable, and if you don't, just either wave it on or turn your camera off and put yourself on mute if you just want to listen in. But I'd love to get a sense of who's here. And so if you would just maybe like 20 seconds, 30 seconds, your name, maybe where you're from, and what you want to share about yourself, or even what's brought you to be here this morning. I might start with you, Cal, if that's okay.
Hey. I'm Callie. I'm based up in sunny Cairns, which is really nice. I've been doing a bit of work with Troy over the last few years, and done a number of courses with him, and I'm here today to continue to keep growing and expanding.
Thanks, Cal. And I want to, just on that note, recognize there's quite a few alumni here that I want to say that they're actually part of our community, part of the community that we're building. And you'll see how valuable that community is as we sort of go through the presentation, and in terms of supporting each other to heal ourselves, to become the greater expression of who we are. So thank you for being here, Cal.
Thank you
And
for
being part
having
of the
me.
community. Chase, can you share?
Hi, everyone. I live on Tambourine Mountain. I've done a couple of Troy's journey things and courses, and yeah, so I've obviously got a lot out of it, and so I'm just want to continue on with the journey to awareness. Thank you.
Thanks, Trace. Paul?
Hey, yeah, morning. I can confirm it is sunny in Cairns. Just looked out the window. And yeah, I've been with Troy for a while, in and out. I'm going deeper into observing the world and observing what's going on. So I've just turned 60, so I'm about to flick over to more. A whole transition of stuff is happening at the moment, and I'm just trying to figure out how that fits and how that develops in my world.
Thanks, Paul. Good to see you. Dan?
Yeah, I'm calling from near Amsterdam, Netherlands, and I got to this masterclass through Adele, who's been in a magical way. We encountered each other, and she advised me to follow it and and so I'm looking forward to learn more and to see what it all means.
Awesome. Thanks for being here, man. Adele, that's your cue.
Hi everyone, I'm Adele. Really happy to be here. I've recently completed the Meeting the Moment container with a few of the other alumni, and I feel really great in this community. I feel like I've gotten so much out of it. It's such a simple process, like it's it's not complex, and it's really quick, and it's very effective, and I'm here for a refresher. Outside of iAMconnected and this beautiful community, I am a coach, leadership and business coach, and I live in the Sunshine Coast in Australia.
Thanks for being here, Adele. I appreciate you.
Thanks, Troy.
Andy? Bit tricky, man. It's a little button, and on the app, it's pretty hard to find. Sometimes I can loop back if you want.
Troy, you might be able to unmute him.
Aha. Am I
Yeah.
there?
Yeah, gotcha, dude.
All right. Yeah, the app's weird. Morning all. How you going? My name's Andy. I live literally around the corner from Troy. And just probably 3 months ago now, completed the iAMconnected course. The Becoming Exponential course, which was, to be fair, one of the best things I ever did for myself. Yeah, and I'm just here to carry on the unfolding.
Mm.
And drink coffee, because it was a big weekend.
Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you
Kate?
too.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Took me ages to figure out how to unmute. Hello, I'm Kate. I live in Canungra, which is just down the bottom of the mountain that Troy lives on. My husband Matt is also on this call, at home with the kids, and I just dropped our eldest into work. So I'm in the car. I really like, Andy, the unfolding, like talking about unfolding, because that's what I feel like. I've just finished the 12-week course, and I feel like I'm still unraveling, kind of disentangling from all of the different parts that make you up. And I had an experience even just last night when I had dinner with my sister, who I see maybe once every 3 years. And she said, she made one comment to me, and I reacted as if I was a 6-year-old little girl back being bullied by her big sister. And I had this moment where I thought, this is why we do the work with Troy that we do, because it's about recognizing that you're never going to get to the end of the journey and just be healed. It's just a continuous working on yourself and unfolding and disentangling from all of the parts and the conditioning that you've been carrying around for so long. So that's why I'm here. That's why I'm back. And thank you, Troy, for putting this space together.
Thank you for being here, Kate.
Mm.
Is Matt in a position to introduce himself?
I
Let's
am.
hope.
I am.
Hey, brother.
Guys.
Hello.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm Kate's husband. Just want to continue my growth journey to be more in the moment, I suppose, is the key to it. Just to be the river. And Kate seemed to get a lot out of the 12-week course, and I had the privilege of meeting Troy the other day, and was keen to find out more.
Yeah, thanks, brother. I was fortunate enough to go over to Kate and Matt's house. They had a little baby lamb that was like literally 1 day Earthside.
Oh.
Very cute. Ever got to have a little hold. It was so gorgeous. Dan Briffa, how are you, brother?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Thanks.
I guess I'll just introduce myself. So,
I've got you on here twice, dude, I
Troy.
think. Have we?
Oh, sorry. Hang on. Is that better?
Yeah, it's better.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm a friend of Troy's, and I live on Tambourine Mountain as well. So, hi to our wonderful community, mountainside and non-mountainside. And I'm a dad. I'm a partner. I play drums, and I work with kids full time. And I'm here just to gain some perspective on things and maybe see through a different lens. So thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here, brother. Paula's detained. Have we missed anybody else? I think that's it. So thanks, everybody. I appreciate you all being here. So just sharing a little bit about me and I guess for me growing up, I was someone that was labeled as shy a lot and quiet. And it wasn't until later in life that I realized that it wasn't so much that I was shy, but I found myself just overwhelmed by the world. And in that space of being overwhelmed by the world, I would shut down. I realized that I'm actually a highly sensitive person. And that in itself has its own negative, like shy has its own negative connotations. And being a highly sensitive person also has, you're just sensitive, has negative connotations. But what I realized when you look at it is like highly sensitive and sensitive. Like when you're sensitive, what it means is that through our senses, we stream lots of data. And being highly sensitive means that we're streaming a lot of data. And if, like for most of us, not being supported to manage that, we find ourselves essentially overwhelmed by the world. And for me, that was my case. Resisting feeling because in the only way that I felt to be able to manage that was just in resistance. And so in that resistance to feeling, I cut myself off from the energy. I cut myself off from the aliveness. And not only that, it pushed me up into my head, and then I'd be overthinking, trying to figure things out, but feeling like I was broken, alien on this planet. And it was suffering, like resisting feeling disconnected and being caught in the mind. That was my reality. And through my adolescence, like I tried experimenting with different things, and it was actually, illicit drugs that helped give me a different perspective, because it gave me a different experience, and it gave me some sense of what it was like to have a quiet mind and also to feel a little again. But that's not, it wasn't a solution for me ongoing. And so really deepened me and put me onto the path of meditation was one of the profound things that I found that helped, because in the meditation practice, whilst it's challenging, I gained space from the mental noise. And in that space, I was really bad at it initially, but got better. The more I did it, the more I was able to gain space from the mental noise. And it was one particular time meditating that I was sitting and trying to hold my attention still, and it was just like really hard. And then, for whatever reason, looked inwards, and I felt there was just this massive charge, this massive amount of emotion that was sitting there that I wasn't recognizing. And so in that resistance to feeling, largely I found myself in unconscious resistance to feeling all the things. And that started me on this journey to really learning how to feel again. And, iAMconnected, it's really, I feel like, well, I've come to understand that for many of us, we think we feel, but it's only when our emotions overrun us that we pay attention to them, and our emotions happen to us. But when we turn our attention inwards and consciously feel, then emotion, energy, and motion, it moves. And it's the story that we have associated with these emotions that we then make this one worse than this one, or this one more desirable than this one. We're going to have move into a meaning the moment experience. And I think we're a small enough group that we can, play with it together. And the invitation in this meeting the moment experience is really to meet the moment and to feel. Before I go into that, I just sort of wanted to touch on, before we go into that together, I just want to touch on iAMconnected. The vision with iAMconnected is really in that journey of moving beyond my own suffering, was realizing that the mind is such a pivotal part in this, learning how to build a relationship with the mind and not be caught in the mental stories. And then teaching people how to feel again, because a lot of what we're looking for is already here, that sense of wholeness, that sense of connection, that sense of fullness. But I'm not sure if anyone here can relate. Who here would say that they're a highly sensitive person? Yeah, I think most of us are. And yeah, we've just not been taught how to process the data that's coming to us, and we find ourselves overwhelmed, and that pushes us up into our heads. And so largely the vision for iAMconnected is really to help liberate us from our minds and to reconnect us to that sense of wholeness, that sense of fullness. And so with the meeting the moment experience, we'll go around the room, and if anyone doesn't want to participate, maybe just put your camera off, because it will just require us to close down our eyes. So the invitation is to do that. So if we can, just close down your eyes, and we're essentially going to meet this moment, tune into this moment. And there's lots of different qualities in this moment. Like there's lots of, we can become aware of what we can hear. We can become aware of what we physically feel. You know, you can feel your bottom on the chair. But what we're going to pay attention to more specifically is the emotion that is arising, what we're feeling in this moment. And for many of us, we've come to associate emotion with physical feeling, like I feel tired or I feel, you know, exhausted or nauseous, or we want to drop underneath that into the emotion that's most alive. And so for me, tuning in, and we're just going to go around and take it in turns. And I'll help to guide. For me in this moment, I'm feeling, I'd say there's a sense of anxiousness. I'm just going to acknowledge that and feel it without giving it meaning, without going into a story around why it's there. We just feel it, anxiousness. And then for you, Adele, in this moment, what are you feeling?
In this moment, I'm feeling a sense of peace. So I'm just acknowledging that.
And so feeling that, witnessing that. And for you, Cal, in this moment, what are you feeling?
Feeling a sense of love and connectedness.
And so just feeling that without going into a story, without giving it meaning, we just feel, allow it. And for you, Andy, in this moment, what are you feeling? Come back to you in a sec, bro. The mute button's got you again. Kate, what are you feeling in this moment?
In this moment, I feel a bit of a worry, a bit of a sense of worry there.
And just let's take a moment just to explore the qualities of that if we can. Would you say that it feels more expansive or more contracted?
Yeah, so it's kind of it's a contracted energy, but
And so
it's not overwhelming. It feels like I'm quite still, but then around the edges there's some tension and some busyness that's there.
and would you say that it's more in the head or more in the heart?
In the heart, I'm feeling it in the heart.
And more busy or more still?
Yeah, so just a bit busy around the edges.
So we just feel that, witness that. And Andy, how are you going with the mute there, brother? Hey, there you go.
There you go. It's pretty
Gotcha.
weird. Yeah, I'd just say a slight sense of overwhelm.
And so we feel that, witness that. Just allow it. And Dan, in this moment, what are you feeling?
I think it's a combination of maybe anxiousness and sadness.
So just feeling that without going into a story around why it's there. Just tune in and feel it. And Dan, for you in this moment, what are you feeling?
I'm feeling just a bit defensive, I guess.
You say defensive?
Yeah.
Would you say that it feels expansive or contracted?
I feel like it's contracted, but I also feel like it's okay. So I
And
feel
so
like
would you say that it feels like it's more in the head or more in the heart?
it's probably more in the head.
And more busy or more still?
Probably busy.
And so we just feel that, acknowledge that without going into a story around why it's there. We just feel, acknowledge it, and consciously meet it and feel it. Paul, for you in this moment, what are you feeling?
It's interesting because every time I express like I did before, I get this energy that comes. So it's like taking the cork off a bottle. It comes up in the center and it just keeps rising up through my vocals. And I just, in that moment, have to sit with myself and tell myself I'm okay because it becomes quite expansive.
So would you say, if you were to label like what you're feeling as an emotion, what would you say it most feels like?
Like gurgling, like bubbling.
Good. So would you say that it feels expansive or contracted?
Yeah, it's expansive. As the more I just sit and leave it, the more expansive it starts to come out through the shoulders, through the arms.
And would you say that it feels more busy or more still?
It's very busy,
And in the head or in the heart?
very much in the space between. So it centers up through the middle. So yeah, it comes out of the diaphragm and up through the solar plexus and straight up and across
So
the
let's
shoulders.
just feel that without giving it meaning or without going into a story around why it's there. We just feel. And Tracy, for you in this moment, what are you feeling?
I just feel like a really low level slight anxiousness.
And so feeling that. Witnessing it. Matt, I know you got your camera off, but I just.
Yeah, no, all good.
You good?
I'm feeling mild euphoria, which is nice, but then an underlying anxiety.
So witnessing that and just feeling it.
Mm.
So what we're learning to do here is bring our conscious awareness to the energy that's arising moment to moment. And we're going to do a couple more rounds. And like as busy people managing a to-do list, it's normal for us to be focused on what we're doing, but at the same time, we have these emotions being triggered throughout the day, and then often in unconscious resistance to them, and it draws on our vitality. And so what we're learning to do here is just tune in and feel and acknowledge the emotion that's alive and doing our best not to go into a story or give it meaning. We just feel. And so for me in this moment, I would say that I feel joy. And so I'm just going to feel that. again, without going into a story or giving it meaning or trying to push towards or pull against, sorry, pull towards or push against, just feeling it. And for you, Kel, in this moment, what are you feeling?
I'm feeling calm, still.
And so feeling that. And for you, Adele?
I am also feeling calm and peace and love, and it has the qualities of in the heart, expansive and quite still.
So feeling that, witnessing that. Hey, for you in this moment?
I'm feeling joy, like power, joy, expansiveness.
So witnessing that, feeling that. And Dan, what are you feeling?
I'm feeling calmness.
And so feeling that, witnessing that. Andy, for you, brother?
I'd say level 2 or level 3 sparkle party.
Witnessing that, the sparkles.
There's sparkles, baby.
Daniel, what are you feeling?
Um, I feel pretty open, I think.
Would you say that it feels expansive or contracted?
Um, I'd say expensive.
Would you say that it feels in the heart or in the head? More in the heart or more in the head?
I'd probably say more in the heart.
And more busy or more still?
More.
And so just feeling that, witnessing that, without giving it meaning or without going into a story, just feeling. And Matt, what are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm at the sparkle party as well.
Yeah, boy.
But I'm kind of like chilling at the bar. I'm not on the dance floor, so it's just like a little bit there, you know. But no, like happy, like really connected and confident in everything I've got in front of me as well. But as I said before, there's sort of an underlying anxiety in that. Yeah.
So feeling that, you witness it and just feel it. Trace, what are you feeling?
I had to laugh at your comment about being at the bar. So I would say I feel similar, like there's an engagement and presence, and like I'm here and I'm not thinking about other things, but I'm at the bar kind of observing. Yeah.
So feeling that. And Paul, for you in this moment?
Now I have a lot coming up, sneezing and coughing, and yeah, it's great. Just expression. Having had expression shut down for so long, opening it up is quite a physical experience.
Yeah. If you were to tune in and perceive what emotion would be most alive, what would you say is most alive for you in this moment?
It's sort of a mix of anxiety and yeah, it's anxiety and a little bit of fear of sharing, fear of judgment, if I was to label it.
Yeah, beautiful. And so I appreciate your vulnerability and sharing. And so just witnessing that, feeling that without giving it meaning.
Stop.
Without giving it meaning, without going into a story around why it's there. We just feel it. Anxiety and yeah. And we'll just do one more round. So for me in this moment, I would say that I feel love. And how that shows up in my experience is there's an absence of mental chatter. Feels very expansive in the heart. It's almost like a coming home, an arrival. Feels whole, sparkly, sparkle party. Just like an ease. It feels, yeah, whole. And Cal,
Feeling blessed, like filled with gratitude.
how would you describe the
Yeah.
qualities of that?
Definitely expansive. And in my heart. It's so yeah, like it's just sort of emanating out of me.
Beautiful. And without trying to hold on to or push against, we just feel that. Adele, for you in this moment?
In this moment, I'm feeling gratitude and connection.
To feeling that. Dan, for you in this moment, what are you feeling?
Definitely connected, and also warm heart. So I don't know if it's gratitude or love, but it's warm.
To feeling that. Kate, what are you feeling?
I'm feeling love, and like whenever I feel love, it's like gold light, like a warm gold, expansive light that is around me. So I'm feeling that.
Beautiful. Witnessing that and feeling that. Andy?
I'd say like a gradual unfolding love.
Witnessing that. Feeling that. Tracy?
I'm feeling like I'm more part of the sparkle party than before. And yeah, presence and gratitude and compassion, all that kind of, yeah, lots of awareness, I guess, of, lots of different things and feeling connected to what's happening right now.
To feeling that. Daniel, what are you feeling in this moment, mate?
I'm feeling pretty connected with everyone, and I'm also feeling happy.
To witnessing that. And Paul, what are you feeling in this moment?
Now that was interesting because when you had me label it before, it unfolded and all changed. So I'm just presently observing the difference in the energy feed
If you
once
had
it
to
was
let
labeled.
Yeah, it's powerful when we label it there because it's like calling it out. What is actually there? And if you were to call it out now, what would you say that it's most like?
Most like fear.
Yeah.
It
And
sits
so,
on the diaphragm. So yeah,
mm.
it sits where we suppress it as men.
And so just witnessing that and feeling that emotion, energy and motion. Without giving it meaning, what we find is the feelings move. It's the unconscious resistance. It's the story that we put around them that holds them in place. And so what we're doing here is just feeling. Matt, what are you feeling?
Calm, calmer than before. It seems to simmered. Everything's simmered down, but grateful. Yeah, and grateful for that.
Mm. Beautiful. And so we meet the moment, and in the moment we find ourselves. There I am. Is there anybody that feels to share their experience or? No pressure. All right.
I'll
So
share.
let's meet. Yeah, great. Thanks, brother.
I guess one of the things that I'd like to share is that I'm about to go to work soon, and I'm looking forward to sharing this experience with the kids I teach, actually.
Amazing. It's a sort of practice that you can do with your kids, with your loved ones, with yourself. It's so powerful. Like, if you're someone that wakes up in the middle of the night and is unable to get back to sleep, meet the moment. There's likely to be a an emotion that's fueling a story. And so what we did here is we focused in on the feeling. This is the cognitive behavioral therapy model. Thoughts, feelings, behavior. So thoughts trigger feelings, which then drive behavior, and that behavior then triggers thoughts, and we can get caught in these mental loops, these patterns of thinking. And what we do when we meet the moment is we collapse these patterns. We focus in on just feeling and the story. And so this is essentially stories that are pervading our awareness. And by focusing in on the feeling, we collapse the stories, the patterns. And we drop through into that which underlies all things, which often feels expansive in the heart and still. And it's in that stillness. I'm not sure about you, but I know for me, it feels like home. It feels like there I am. Like that feels more real for me. That felt sense of connection to the aliveness, the sparkle party, that feels more true than the stories, the conditioned noise that's in my head. And what I've come to understand is that the noise, like these programs that are running, largely we've been identified with them. We draw our identity from them. And that's making us sick. And it's also making the planet sick. And it's now that we need to build a new relationship. We need to rediscover who we are. Because we aren't these programs. And we're going to talk about these programs, like how these programs were installed. Like iAMconnected is a consciousness hacking platform. Well, biohacking is for optimizing the body. Consciousness hacking is for optimizing the mind. It's like, I don't want to hack. I don't want my mind hacked. You've already been hacked. these programs, like, did you install them? These programs get installed during our adolescence. It's when we learn at a very young age about our reality, as our caregivers and our society, these are the programs. Well, where I've got my hand up, does anyone know how to put my hand down?
Yeah,
Okay, long
sure.
hand.
Nice.
Thanks, Adele. And so we're going to talk about contractions or triggers. Like, these programs get fired throughout the day. And what we just had an experience of when we met the moment, and the more you practice it, the easier it is, because I know it can be foreign to actually tune in and actually feel consciously the emotion and then try to label it, because many of us have been in unconscious resistance to it, and we label with what we're feeling to more of a felt sense of, like, I feel tired or I feel sore. And so what you'll learn to do through the Meeting the Moment is to really become attuned again to feeling the emotion that's arising, the energy that's arising, energy in motion. And what we learn is that it's not good or bad. It's just energy in motion. It's the story we put around them that makes it perceive as good as bad. And to be connected, it's to feel everything. To be disconnected is to say, I don't want to feel that. And so we're learning to feel again, but not needing to label it as good or bad. And so contractions, triggers. And so through the Meeting the Moment experience, we learn to pay attention to where these programs get activated, these contractions. And so what is a contraction? Like, throughout the day, it's like where something happens, like you'll be interacting with the world and then something will happen. Maybe your loved one says something, or maybe someone cuts you off in traffic, or, you know, I'll share with you like my list of contractions in a few moments, but these programs get activated and they hijack our awareness. They start running. And what we learn is that most of these programs were installed through our adolescence. Like, from the moment we enter into this reality, our caregivers and society is conditioning us. And you'll have an experience, and often moments of peak emotional experience, we weren't supported to be able to feel what was happening. And so then we contract. And you can see when we met the moment, when we just feel, even if it's a lot, it's the story we put around it that holds it, that makes it good or bad. And these moments of peak emotional experience in our adolescence, it's what we needed to do at that point to keep to cope, to manage, in lieu of being supported to actually feel and process what was happening. And that way that we learned to cope and manage when we were 3, 4, 5 is now in the way when we're 30, 40, 50. And these patterns of thinking, it's not who we are. And the Meeting the Moment experience has its roots in a couple of different things. One is internal family systems. Another one is we use cognitive behavioral therapy. Dr. Richard Schwartz, the founder of Internal Family Systems, he has a saying. He's like, when you're feeling anything that's not the qualities of self, capital S, self, or awareness, that expansive, still, heart-centered state, then heart has taken over. A program has started to run. And so we learn to pay attention to where these programs are installed. And so the reality is, even if we had the best parents in the world, no one could be there for us in the way that we needed when we needed, except for ourselves retrospectively. And so what we're learning to do is identify these programs, and I want to share like a process, like how we uninstall them in a moment, identify where, what the fuel is, what's the contraction, and then using the meeting the moment process we use emotion, we use the feeling to go in on and identify where that was initially installed and support that part to feel what it couldn't feel at that time, to meet that moment. We're at a unique point in human evolution. We're learning to relate to ourselves in this new way. Like, there hasn't been a point in human evolution now. Like, traditionally, these programs get passed down generationally from generation to generation, as sort of seen in that previous slide. But what we are doing here from the present moment, identifying what programs we're running, going back and uninstalling them so that we can be more in the present moment and envision a future that's unrestricted from the past. Now I'm doing thumbs up. So I think it's really profound. And in this, we use this concept called radical self-responsibility. What that means is that all of life is happening for us. It's trying to bring us back into wholeness. And so what we mean by radical responsibility is when you're feeling anything that's not awareness, then a program's being triggered. And with the right framework, with the right tools, we're able to uninstall that program. We're able to be with that part. And we go deeper into what parts means when we go into the program. It's essentially a part of our, that younger part of you that wasn't supported to feel, it's fueling this pattern. And so we go back and we support that part. And so with radical self-responsibility, it's like when you're feeling anything that's not awareness, then a part has taken over. And the opportunity is to be there and unburden that part, to support that part to feel what it couldn't feel then. And so we bring love and compassion to that part. And so I want to just demonstrate what that process is like. Now, if that's okay, does anybody have any questions on any of this thus far? I'm happy to, or any comments or any concerns? Is it making sense?
Yep.
Cool. Yep. So a process. So in this, like it requires vulnerability, right? The thing is, with the meeting the moment process, what we've discovered is that the most efficient way to heal or unburden these parts is to guide ourselves to that. If you traditionally would go to, this work's done by like a counselor or a psychotherapist or a psychologist, it requires a significant element of, them trying to psychoanalyze you. But the framework that we take is that connecting somebody, we connect people to who they really are, and who you really are is the person, the being that you find in the stillness. And then when you're not that, then a part has taken over. And so that part needs us. And so we're teaching you to be able to heal yourself, to be there for that part of yourself. And so I want to give you an example of that. And I was hoping, Adele, if you're available, if you wouldn't mind just helping to hold the container for me.
Of
And
course.
so, thank you. Within the community, this is part of what we're building. It's not like I need, what I want to say is, sorry, Danny, you typing, brother? Can you put yourself on mute, man?
Oh, so sorry, man. I was just gonna write. I really have to run. I gotta go help Chanel with a little boy.
Okay.
I would love to hear the rest of it, but so
Yeah, it's been recorded, man. So you'll
yeah,
catch the recording, eh?
if that's all right. Yeah, and I
Yeah,
really
man.
appreciate
Yep.
spending time with yourself
Sweet.
and everyone else this morning. It's been absolutely beautiful. I can't wait to tell my partner about it and think about it a little bit more. So thank you very much.
Cool, brother. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. So within the community, what we're doing is we're supporting each other to heal ourselves. And so with this training, it's not that when both people are trained, I take the lead in healing myself, and Adele is here to support. So as an example, we start by meeting the moment, and we won't go into that again. And we meet the moment to connect to our authentic self. We connect to awareness. And so we go through that process as a pair, back and forth. And then from there, we create a container, a safe space. So it's something as simple as, so once we've met the moment, and we did before, so we use that. So now I just want to create a container. We have both Adele and I in an awareness, and I'll let it known to my parts that this is a safe space, a space to be seen, and a space, and then we're here to help. And for any parts that feel to come forward, we welcome that. And so, yeah, we create a container. So that's the second step, quite simple. And so then the invitation then is for the person that's processing to provide context. What we resist doing is going into a story. The story's mind, it pulls us back into the loop. And so we ask for context. What's the context? And so for me, the contraction that I'll share is my daughter, she's 10, and she has friends come over. And for whatever reason, her friends contract me. They annoy me, most of them. And the feeling is, there's irritation, annoyance. And so we show context, there's context. And what's the underlying emotion? The underlying emotion is irritation, annoyance. And so we recognize there's a part of me that's feeling irritated, annoyed, even angry. It's not actually awareness, the awareness that I entered into this container with, the awareness that Adele's helping to hold. And we use a partner because in trying to process yourself, it doesn't necessarily work for a couple of reasons. One is that it's hard to actually hold awareness, to be present, not be thinking about work or kids or all the other things, to then also be able to recognize parts. And there's different parts that can come up. And also there's a healing in the vulnerability of sharing this with somebody else, as opposed to keeping it inside. The mind's very sophisticated in trying to keep us safe, but at the same time, it's the mind that's the problem. And so jumping back in, so there's a part of me that's feeling angry. And so then what I do is I feel into that, recognizing there's a part of me that's feeling angry. And like I said before, we take radical responsibility. And in that, we see that all of life is happening for us. it's trying to bring us back into wholeness. And so these parts, they don't want to be burdened in this way. And they want to release, and so that they come forward. And so it's tuning in and waiting for something to, like a thought, a memory or something to come into your awareness, a part of a time during your adolescence when you may have felt something similar. So we use that emotion, we connect to that emotion. And so for me, feeling into that annoyance, yeah, that's straight away, like memories or visions of my dad comes forward. I used to have lots of friends over. My mum was very supportive of me having friends over. But yeah, there's a sense of annoyance that my dad was never, he was disconnected from it. And yeah, wasn't really supportive of it. And in fact, there was arguments of him and my mum fighting because my mum would always support me and even take me to my friend's place. And so just sitting with that for a moment, there's arguments between my parents related to me spending time to my friends, with my friends. And so again, like we recognize there's a part of me that's feeling that it's not actually me awareness or capital S self. And so then what we would do is just let that part know that I see it. It's like, hey, I see you in that scene. And I understand why you're feeling the way that you do, that irritation and anger. And the key here is also to recognize we can't change what happened. And we're not trying to change what happened. And we're not trying to go into a dialogue or have conversations with different parts. What we do with is from awareness, we bring love and compassion to that part. It's like, hey, I see you in that. Can't change what happened, but I can let you know that you're no longer alone because I am here now. And we can feel this together. And so we support that part just to feel the emotion, because the emotion is what's fueling the story. It's contracted, it's stuck. And so in this, by feeling it, we release it. And so what I like to do is put my head on that younger part of me, put my head on theirs. It's like, hey, I see you. I see you in this. I understand why you're feeling the way you do. It makes sense that you'd feel this. I'm sorry we can't change what happened, but I'm here now. You're no longer alone. And often these parts feel like they're alone. They're stuck. They weren't supported to feel or understand or process. And so we meet them and we just feel it. And so we feel it together. And I'm actually processing this in real time. I'm being there with that part. And we're just feeling it. You can understand, like, there's a lot of energy, emotion around your parents fighting and relevant to your friends. Part of me is angry, confused, hurt, So we're just feeling all of that. And a huge part of this is just that part when they know that you're there. It's just like, support. And then you can feel it. It's an opportunity for them just to let go of the trying to hold on. And what happens is the energy moves, it runs. And when the energy runs, it's like it lightens in the same way we were contracted. Many of us were contracted earlier when we started meeting the moment. When we feel it, we move into joy. And this younger part's smiling at me now. And so and this is where we unburden them. It's like, hey, I want to let you know that, we're actually now 47 and we don't need you to hold on in that same way. What would you like to go and do? And we share the energy of awareness with them. We share that expansive, heart-centered, still but alive and sparkly energy. This is the energy of who we really are. And often they want to just go play or emerge in the energy. And so then we come back and we test the initial contraction. And for me, it feels like feel into that feeling of having Emma's friends come over. It feels like awareness. It feels expansive. It feels like love. And so we unburden that part. And so then that trigger, that fuel for that pattern is no longer then drawing on my vitality. I can show up with presence. And what it does, it creates choice. It doesn't mean to say that I just accept what's throwing at me. It means that I can respond from a place of presence with life circumstances. Without reacting, I can respond. And so we're doing this, we're tracking these contractions and then we're releasing them. And so it's a journey back to wholeness. Does anybody have any questions or any comments or thoughts? Thank you, Adele. And so within the community, we're training each other. Like we train with the fundamental skills to be able to process ourselves. Like there's other aspects to it that we go into, like other manager parts that can come in. And so we learn how to cope with those. But you can see how in a very quick time, we're able to release that stuck energy that's fueling those patterns.
Troy, can I make a quick comment before we move on?
Please.
With the process, like you'll just watch Troy run himself through it. Troy's really experienced and really beautiful and has practiced this vulnerability. But I just want to acknowledge that for most people in our course that we just did, and for most people that I've tried this with, the vulnerability to really say into a group space, it takes a lot. And so if you're kind of putting yourself in Troy's shoes and you're going, oh, I don't know if I could do that in a group space, just know that that's very common, very normal. And like Troy said earlier, that's part of the healing. That's part of the loosening the grip of the mind and being able to share it. And it is easier inside the container as well, because there's a lot of chances to just be teamed up with one person, like just you and your partner, your processing partner, and you exchange. So it's a bit of an easier version to get started if you're nervous about speaking into a group.
Thank you, Adele. That's a great point. And the you wouldn't necessarily do this in a group of people like this. It would be one-on-one, but and I feel like I do see people then go, oh, cool, I've got these skills, I can just process myself. It's the vulnerability, sharing your wound with somebody else is a key part of the healing. And so we do what we can to help build trust and love and compassion. What we recognize is that you are the awareness, you are the self that's in the stillness, and so am I. And when you're contracted in a story that's not that, then a part has taken over. You're in your human condition. And so I have love and compassion for you. I have compassion for you. But what we're learning to do is take radical self-responsibility. It's not pointing out there, you made me feel this, you made me feel this. It's actually a gift that someone's triggered something, because then you can look inwards. There's a part of me that needs me, and I can bring love and compassion to them and unburden them. It's like, wow. And so it's all the people around you, all the loved ones, all the people you spend time with. You know, like the recent container we did with the Meeting the Moment. Everybody in there triggered something for me at some point. It's great. Radical self-responsibility. I can process that with different members of the community. And so it's just like, hey, Adele, I've got a contraction. Can we run a process? You can set it up so that you can do process swaps. And so we learn to observe our contractions throughout the day. Where do you feel yourself get small? Where do you find the mind get triggered? Yeah, where do you feel a surge of emotion? Where do you find yourself get pulled into a story out of presence? And so we begin to explore that sense of who we are outside of the stories. And this may be new for a lot of people. And like Andy and Adele and Kelly, a lot of the people that have done this, been on this journey for a little while with me, is it's going deeper into connecting to who you are in the stillness outside of the stories. And so we're healing ourselves from the story. It's our identification with the story that is, like I said, it's making us sick and it's killing the planet. And so we're reconnecting to who we really are. And I understand this is challenging, but it's important. I feel like it's important. It's like, what could be more important than reconnecting to who you really are outside of the false noise? And, you know, as a community, we're supporting each other to heal ourselves, bringing ourselves back into wholeness. And so I'm aware that we only got about 12 minutes left. I wanted to show you around iAMconnected, but I might leave that and just sort of say, like, through the platform, where there's a few key things, like meditation is another key component that we encourage as part of this, and we're tracking meditation through the platform. A daily log. And so it's like a daily log. And so we're learning to, like journaling, but you then share it with people that you're connected to. And the invitation is going to be is to share your log with me. And what it is it's like questions that are outlined that help to give you an introspective look at how you're thinking, what code you're actually running. And we use that log to also track the contractions. And so in sharing that log, you're kind of letting me on the inside so that I can support you. And so that's part of the vulnerability as well. And I understand. But essentially, it's like I'm there to help and support you as much as you want. It's like letting me on the inside. Letting me on team Dan, team Paul, team Kelly, team Adele, team Andy, team Paula, team Tracy, Matt, letting me on the inside. And you know, I know, I see you for who you are. Who are you? I asked the question at the beginning, who are you? sure, we've got this story that we've developed, and on one level, in this three-dimensional reality, you know, we can play with that story about who we are, but also I see you for who you really are outside of that story. And my job is to help connect you to that, deepen your relationship with that. And so why I am connected, this is like Paula and I, we went hard on a 7-day challenge just recently, last week. It's so much more efficient. Like traditionally, you would either A, with these contractions, do nothing, which is not a good solution because then you're perpetuating the patterns that are passed down generationally. B, you could go to a counselor or a psychologist, but to find the counselor or psychologist that you vibe with is half the challenge. And then you spend half the time in the session talking about what's going on. What we're doing with iAMconnected is we're already tracking our contractions, and then we're training a community of people to be able to heal ourselves with the support of another person. So you get on the call and it's like, all right, meet the moment, set up the container. What's the context? What was the underlying emotion? We use that emotion to go in and connect to the memory, and then we unburden that part. And so much more efficient. And after the investment for this initial training, the cost is negligible to be able to hear yourself compared to like the sessions that you would go to with a psychologist or a counselor. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about the program in the time that we have remaining. So what's in the program? Everything that you need to get started, set up the right way. And I know I haven't gone into the platform, but we can, if you're interested, we can organize a time to show you through that. But also knowing what to do, you know, like you can see, hopefully you can see how simple it is. It's not something that we need to overcomplicate. And I think that's part of the magic of what it is that we're doing here. So the 6-week program, we would start with an onboarding. So it's a 6-week container now, and I'm going to explain why that is as we go through this, because I think 6 weeks is sufficient. So we do an onboarding, we get the dates in the calendar, get set up on iAMconnected, show you the daily log, how to use the daily log, set up a daily meditation practice. Why meditation? Because it's taking the time each day to sit and take control of your attention, take control of your power. And as you get drawn into this story and that, we bring it back. So it's building capacity. We're building our capacity to be able to be present. Week 1 would getting to know each other is a big part of it. Building that trust, vulnerability. We'd unpack meeting the moment, talk about emotions, contractions, tracking contractions, would go into that, do a live process, and then we'd set up practicing meeting the moment in pairs. And then, sorry, I just got to move my check-in. We do a weekly check-in. Week 2, talk about the meeting the moment framework, the processing framework that we just went through. We'd unpack that, talk about parts, and do a live processes for those that are willing. And then we'd practice in pairs. Then week 4, check-in. And like, again, it's just a check-in, live process, practice in pairs. You'd have everything that you need by that point. And so then it's just practicing. Check-in, live process, practice in pairs. There's a workbook that comes with this so that you got it as a reference. Check-in, live process, practice in pairs. Where to from here? So it's not rocket science. We are working with the mind. So the mind is very adept at hijacking us. We're working with parts. But the infrastructure that we've set up with the platform, with the group, with this container, and that's why, like as a community, we see people back here because it's important that we're essentially, like I say, it's like we're supporting each other to heal ourselves. And to be quite honest, I don't want to be the person, the only person. I want, you know, like, I feel like at this time on the planet, to liberate mankind from the mind is important work. The mind's the identification with the mind is dysfunctional on the planet. What's the time commitment? So 90-minute training session weekly, minimum a 20-minute meditation practice minimum. My strong encouragement is to do an hour. And if you think you don't have an hour, then you should probably do 2 hours. It's like meditation creates space, because you could spend 24 hours lost in the programs of the mind going in the wrong direction. When you take the time out to sit, you align yourself with the supreme intelligence. You get out of the programs and you connect to the aliveness that's flowing through all things. That is you. And so what could be more important than taking the time each day to tune into that? And the mind doesn't want to, it wants to resist, it wants to do all these things, but that's the work. That's where you find yourself. And so the encouragement is to deepen your meditation practice. Do a daily log. And I'm going to invite you to share that with me. You'll be practicing. You've got to practice this. The only way to get better at it is practice. And so the invitation is to practice. And it's expected that you attend the live sessions. And if you can't, at a minimum, watch the recordings. If time zones don't permit, well then I'll manage that. I'll manage that. So what's the investment? So the complete program is $2,997. That's 6 weeks, access to the platform, all the trainings. But bonus, I'll be available on your daily log, letting me on the inside. So every day I'll be there to help support, guide you. My job is to guide you to the reconnection to who you are outside of the stories and help navigate those stories. Becoming exponential program. So I've been meditating for close to 30 years now and become quite adept at being able to find the stillness outside of the mind, and created a program which is based off a Zen meditation practice that's designed to teach you the framework of how to experience yourself outside of the mind, how to get outside the mind. And so I'll make that available to you. Lifetime access to the platform and this community, like after the initial cost of this training, then you can leverage the community to heal yourself for free for a lifetime. So then you think about it in the context of having to go to a psychologist for every contraction that you have. Like these contractions, at best, they're drawing on your vitality. At worst, you get caught in the mental loops and you'll end up suffering. And the reality is we all have unresolved emotions that are fueling patterns that are drawing on our vitality, that are disconnecting us from our authentic self. And, we are early stage in this. The reality is this is where iAMconnected is at. Has anyone heard of Laszlo Hanyecz? Laszlo Hanyecz. He was famous for buying 2 pizzas with 10,000 Bitcoin. So what wouldn't you give to go back and buy to have those 10,000 Bitcoin to buy those pizzas? Like he was early stage, right? I'm not saying that iAMconnected is going to be the next Bitcoin, but I feel like what we're doing here is really cool. It's really simple. I think it's profound and it's going to grow. And so getting involved now means that you'll be a foundation member in this journey and you'll be always recognized as that. So what's the investment? The culmination of this, the program, all the bonuses, total value is like $15,000. The reality is, though, I'm not asking for that much. I want to keep it affordable. I want to keep it accessible. And so there's 3 different tiers here. basic, if you just want to do the course, $777. It's pretty much giving it away. The reason I can do this is because I'm not relying on this income to support my lifestyle, but I will use this income to continue to grow the platform, to continue to market and grow the community. The ideal, if you were looking at using this or training in this to be a coach within there is an option to do this within iAMconnected, then we're looking at $3,000. But where I hope most of you will land, unless you're inclined to do the coaching track, is the $1,000 for the 6-week complete training to learn how to process your unresolved emotional wounds, to have lifetime access to a community of others that are doing the same. I'll provide you daily support via your daily log, and to be recognized as a foundational member of iAMconnected. There's maybe some resistance, like, I'm not good at these things. Meditation, no one is when they start. The mind is it's been off its leash for so long. We're learning to take mastery over it. I don't have the time. Like, what could be more important than deepening your relationship with your authentic self? And what makes this different? I've tried lots of different things. For me too, I've tried lots of different things over the 30 years I've been on this personal development path. And this is profound, like, it works. And I've got lots of different testimonials. I'm sure Adele and Kelly and Tracy and even Andy could share stories on that. And so I might invite those in a moment, but just to round this out, like, I want you to come on this journey with us, to learn this training, be part of the community, be like, Dan, I'm just contracted. Can we run a process? Let's do a swap. Andy, I'm contracted. Can we run a process? Let's do a swap. Paul, in the same way that Adele, Kelly, and Tracy, it's what we do now. And the thing is, you can use it with your loved ones as well. You can use it with clients. The thing is, with the coaching track, what I would do is I'd spend more time with you one-on-one to show you how to process other people. And in the early stages, like, I still have some people that I guide them, as opposed to guiding themselves. I guide them through that process until they find the confidence to do that. So $1,000 to learn a framework that you'll have for a lifetime to heal yourselves.
It's really insane because I vouch for this, the value that I've gotten out of it. And I process myself and my husband all the time now because I'm with him all the time. And so he hasn't even done the training, but he gets the meeting the moment and being able to hold space. And we're even at a point now where I can process my own contractions that he's like, that have been triggered by something that he's done. It's like we're really freeing ourselves from the ego self and the mind when we're able to do that. So yeah, thank you, Troy. I'm glad I did this.
I love that, Adele, because that's the radical self-responsibility. It's the recognition that even though he's been the trigger, he's activated the trigger, he's not the cause. It's something inside you that needs you.
Yeah.
And so you're able to use that radical responsibility to heal yourself.
Yeah.
And with his support, like, that's beautiful. Like, I'm single at the moment. That's the relationship that I looking for, is that sort of level of radical responsibility, because then, yeah, then you can spiral up together.
You will find it.
Yeah, yeah, I will. When the time's right, I'll show up. Does anybody have any questions?
No.
So I'll send this link out via email, and if anybody does want to have a chat about it, I know, Dan, we've got one-on-one scheduled, or we'll have one scheduled, so I'd love to just drop in with you and answer any questions. Paul, if you want to chat, just let me know. But yeah, I love, like the community is small at the moment. And I've run this program a couple of times, and so and that's part of why it's so cheap, to be quite honest. The next time I run it, it's probably going to be double the price. And it'll find its price point. The price point, I don't think it's going to stay down at $1,000, particularly with lifetime access. But recognizing that I want you to lean in, and I want to make that as inexpensive as possible, but you still have to have some skin in the game. I want you to lean in and jump on this journey together. I promise, like, I'll show up for you, and yeah, if you show up, I'll show up. We'll be there. And just gentle reminders to always come back and do the things that are important. Cool.
Thanks for your
Awesome.
generosity and integrity, Troy. Really appreciate it.
I appreciate you, Adele, and I appreciate you, Andy.
Thanks,
Paul.
Troy. Much appreciated, brother. We'll catch
Yeah.
up soon, eh?
Yeah.
Thanks,
Cool.
everyone.
All right.
Thank you very
Big love.
much. Yeah,
Thank you.
we'll speak to each other, Troy.
Yeah, please. Yeah, let's organize that call.
All right, we'll do that.
Cool.
Thanks a lot. I'm
All
going
right.
to sleep.
Yeah, do it. I appreciate you staying up. You're a champion.
No, it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
It was very nice. Thank you.
All right.
Okay. Bye.
Big love. Bye.
Thanks, mate. Let's catch up soon and have a chat.
Yep.
I've got some things going on, so yeah, be good.
Look forward to it. All right. Thanks, brother.